We have to develop children's literacy skills, obviously, in school, and we've all, because we also cover Africa and we work on looking at Africa as a whole school subject, I was thinking of some way to actually bring the literacy skills into what we were doing, and it seems an ideal opportunity to look at legends. I mean, as a Welsh school, we look at our Welsh curriculum, and to look at Welsh legends is a major part of the curriculum.
And she's said to have built the castle in Hay in one night. Now, is that going to be an important fact, Madeleine, in our legend? That she built a castle in one night?
So if we looked at legends from Timbuktu as well and compared them, it just seemed a really good idea to do that.
Once, a long time ago, before the world was as it is today, before we had shops that sold us food, before we had cars to drive around in Africa, the people could eat the sky. Now, can you imagine eating the sky?
The greatest challenge really was, we know so many Welsh legends. And I actually find, and because Welsh legends often explain situations the children are aware of, when you look at a legend from Mali, it's why do they have that legend? What would have brought that about? And it's a challenge that's also become a strength of the project, because as we've done it, we've been able to say to children, well, this legend, they would be telling this story because their world is very different from ours. Then we thought about names for it and asked the children, and someone came up with telling tales, which was really appropriate. And the idea is that we will produce books that with the children's stories in different formats. There'll be we want to put in it. We want a range of ways of writing. So there will be stories they've told, poems, play scripts. Telling it in the form of a comic strip. Stories. Children do stories as story maps, where they actually draw pictures. It's almost like a road picture, and you follow along the road, you follow the story. Those are the ways we want to do it. We want to make it child-friendly, but also something that a child in Timbuktu could pick up. So sometimes the language is quite basic language, but they can follow the story.
I am an eagle streaked with brown, glinting in the sun, flying over the pane, flinching with every kill. I am a lion, observing the death that could have been my prey. I am a girl, pinpricks of blood dripping from my injured knee. I was happiness washing over the people's hearts before the war came. I was a cow grazing the fields of gold and green. After the massacre, my home was burnt. I was water, deep underground so no one could find me, hiding from the poverty above. I will be courage, standing up to what is right. I will be a question creeping into the minds of children who haven't felt happy in so long. I'll be time taking its isolated path.
We talked about issues, you say about issues of, for example, poverty. Poverty is something we're going to look at in the summer term, because having the Timbuktu Trail in town and looking at and comparing life here and in Timbuktu, and then having the visitors over, it really is quite obvious that poverty isn't just a question of having no money or no food. There are poverty which children feel that is not in Mali, is a poverty of skills. We've talked about a poverty of family life. These are certainly not poverty as you'd see it in Mali. So it's really interesting to see how you judge poverty, and so our summer term project will be, what is poverty? The children have loved it. At the moment I've got a bit of a problem, because we are going to put, some of the children are going to be reading their poems at another event in the town, and they're also keen. They keep bringing me poems they've written at home and trying to explain how it links with Timbuktu, so they are really enjoying it. Having started this, we can see how much it's been a vehicle to encourage children to write, and I'd hate to think that this would be the end of it. Having produced the book, there are so many other opportunities. It would be really nice to actually get stories from Timbuktu, and when we send these stories over, if stories came back and we could identify with them, and perhaps this would be a really good way to build up a project of, what do they need to write stories? You know, is there a shortage of writing materials? What could we do to help? How could we make contact? So there are lots and lots of opportunities, and I think the children would really appreciate that.